Well, hello everybody, I'm Jack, and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. How did your Saturday go? Mine went spectacular. I had my first mono meal from from the mangoes I bought yesterday, and I had 32 ounces of orange juice, then I had 32 ounces of about 2/3 grapefruit juice and orange juice. And then I had a mono meal of mangoes, and I'm buzzing right now. I feel so good. Probably be time for a green smoothie or something after I do this video. But for our Saturday video, I wanted to talk about how happiness doesn't depend on circumstances. Guys, I do videos every day. So if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I'd really appreciate it if you go down there and hit that red subscribe button right now. Then click on the little bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. It's just a great day today, a great day to be alive. The weather's a little warmer than normal. Actually, this is the first time I've been in short sleeves, and I couldn't tell you how long, but it's a good day. It's a good Saturday. Wearing one of my favorite malas. This was made by a yogi friend of mine in Texas. I just love the energy from this. I like the energy of things that people have made. When somebody makes something for you, actually made it for you with you in mind, that's very powerful. I was thinking about this subject last night. I actually was talking about this subject yesterday. Not necessarily talking about it directly, but the couple I had lunch with, I got thinking about happiness, and I got talking about a couple of experiences of mine. So since last night, it just kind of went in its own direction. I found a reading. I have my own thoughts. I actually wasn't going to do a reading, and then I was reading this, and I thought this would be a nice share. So here you go. It's called Happiness is a Choice. And it's written by Todd Smith. It's kind of an older article, but it was in the magazine Pathways to Family Wellness. Although it may be tempting to dismiss a call to happiness during troubled economic times, world strive for personal grief as overly optimistic or too simplistic, I believe these are just the occasions for a reminder that when it comes to happiness, all of us have a choice. In fact, choosing to be happy is one of the few essential decisions that we get to make regardless of age, stage of life, or present situation. It's a decision that can't be taken away and no one else can make it for us. Each one of us gets to choose every single moment of every day whether or not we want to be happy. It's the same as choosing which dress or tie to wear, or choosing to eat pancakes and syrup instead of bran cereal. Just as you choose the outfit because it makes you look good, you choose the pancakes to satisfy your sweet tooth craving. You choose to be happy because it's how you want to experience life. Happy people are more likable and desirable to be around. Isn't it amazing how we're drawn to people with sunny dispositions? One of the consequences of this phenomenon of human nature is that happy people regularly benefit from the enthusiastic help and cooperation of others. Researchers have determined that happy people have stronger immune systems, endure pain better than unhappy people, and live longer. They have greater and longer opportunities to enjoy life and everything in it. Happiness leads to greater job productivity, which often results in higher income. So why not choose to be happy? No doubt, you can think of many reasons. You're not where you want to be in your career. You've experienced financial setbacks. Your children aren't living up to your expectations. Your boss doesn't appreciate your efforts. Your neighbors aren't friendly. And your list goes on and on and on. Let me suggest that these are not reasons at all. They are excuses for not being happy. Dale Carnegie explains it this way. Happiness doesn't depend on any external conditions. It is governed by our mental attitude. You alone are in control of your attitude and making the decisions to improve your life. Choose to be happy and then take the necessary steps to make it so. I can personally attest to the connection between happiness and an improved quality of life. Many years ago, I decided I would be intentional about choosing to be happy. I didn't just say I wanted to be happy. I found out what I needed to do to make happiness a daily reality for me. Though I'm fortunate that I have experienced a rewarding career and professional life, it's not my achievements that are to be credited for my happiness and the quality of life I now enjoy. Rather, it's the little decisions I consistently make each day that continue to help me in my choice to be happy. If you've never considered happiness as a choice before today, there's never been a better time than right now to choose happiness. Take control of your emotions and start focusing on the good things in your life and the person you want to become. As you do, you will begin to feel the happiness in your life. Choose to be happy. It's an attitude that will improve every part of your life. this idea actually popped up and got me thinking again when I was having lunch with that couple from Dallas yesterday. I started telling them a few, we were talking, they were I was telling them stories and stuff about me, and got me thinking back to that time in Panama when I got locked up for 3 weeks in immigration, and how I've always thought of that as such a good experience. Most people are like, oh my God, what are you saying? Yeah, it was one of the best experiences of my life. But it taught me. I'd been a vegan about 1 year at that time, or just a little less than a year. And it was my first real test. And it was my first time of really understanding this concept of how happiness comes from within us. And I actually had conversations about this in that place, in that spot, in that time that I've mentioned here before, but not very much. So I'll go back and refresh a little bit. I met this guy one of the first few days I was there. And everybody just had nicknames, or sometimes you just called them by their country. Well, he was from Cuba, so we just called him Cuba. Big old burly guy, big old guy. Turns out to be a great guy. I got to really like him. But we're talking the first day, and he probably thinks I'm some sort of a nut job, and I'm like locked up, and we get talking. I forgot how the subject arose, and I'm like, well, yeah, I'm happy. And he's like, well, how are you happy? You're locked up in here. You don't even know what's going on. You don't know when you're going to talk to anybody, blah, blah, blah. I said, I don't have a choice. I can't control, and I knew this. I first got that little glimpse back then. I'm like, I can't change my circumstances. I'm here. I can go beat my head against that wall over there. I can scream out the door. I can get into a fight. I can do this. I can do that. But I am here. So, and I started making the best of my time the whole time I was there. And he would come by every so often the first few days. Maybe, I don't even think it lasted a week, the first few days. And he was a character too. I liked it. And he would always kind of pick at me a little bit, but in a good way. He'd walk by where my bunk was, and he'd go like, happy boy, are you still happy today? And I'd like, yeah, Cube, I'm happy as can be. And he's like, all right. And he'd check every day. And this cat started actually, eventually, I could tell he was listening to some of the stuff I was talking about. And really good guy. But yeah, that was just when it started setting in. And I see, I see examples of it all the time. I mean, me, I use that as an example, but it wasn't some horrid situation. So I don't want to be singing the blues. It wasn't like Locked Up Abroad, like that TV show you see. And I know a lot of people have been through a lot tougher things. So some people are probably get angry. People get angry at this sort of a message. And I can kind of understand that. They don't quite take it. You're not dismissing anything that's going on in anybody's life or minimizing it or trying to say, it's not important. But we really don't have a choice over too many things. And it's how we, it was just like with me. When I was locked up there, they would take us out in the yard every once in a while. That sounds all hood and stuff, like I'm a thug or something. The yard was just a big field where people kicked a soccer ball around. This was immigration. It wasn't one prison, one like we were having to fight for our lives in there. But every time we went out in the yard, and I was really plugging in at this time, this was one of the most important spiritual journeys or spiritual times I ever had. I would just go over. I wasn't playing soccer. I wish I knew how, but I'm a typical gringo. I can't kick a soccer ball. So I'd just go. I'd watch them for a while, or I'd walk around, and I'd go hang out by the fence. And I would look at any flower there, and I would the butterflies too. I would catch any little butterfly and focus my energy on it, and I would try to keep my eye on that energy on that butterfly as far as they would fly. And then I would take that back inside with me, and I would remember that. And it was almost like I had put I'm not getting out there. This is just kind of my imagination and things I was doing to play with myself, but I would almost imagine like I put my consciousness into the butterfly, and as he's flying out there, I could imagine experiencing all that. Or I would find a little small weed of a flower, and a pretty little bird just popped in right outside my window. I'd find a little flower or something, or just something that was alive, and I would bring it back in with me, because in that concrete cement place where I was, it was a little bit of beauty, a little bit of life in there. But yeah, it just really reinforced for me that week, or really just gave me that message that, I control my happiness. And there's even people that go through, one of the things is my message isn't all that inspiring. I wasn't like going through harsh difficulties. People go through harsher stuff, but what really can be inspiring is when you see people that are going through some real stuff, some real tough stuff, And they do find that happiness. I've seen people where I'm just almost in awe of them. I'm like, how can you be happy? How can you find even a little bit of happiness in your condition? And they do, and they overcome. So just always try to remember that, and don't get angry at the message. Take that as consolation that maybe if you do a little work or you think in a different way, that you always have that capacity inside of yourself to ignite that happiness. You know, don't wait for outside sources, because those outside sources, that type of happiness is temporary at best. That type of happiness is fleeting. There's nothing wrong with that, but all the happiness from the outside, because there can be happy events that happen. I'm not saying don't be happy at events that are that come from somebody else or come from the outside, but just be aware that those are just the little moments. You know, the big moments are actually, the big moments in life actually, I think we all find out, turn out to be the small moments. And the real life is like just right now, as soon as I turn off this and I'm by myself just puttering around in the house, continuing to make myself happy. Hope you guys enjoyed this one today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Peace.